everyone. How are you today? I hope you're doing well, healthy, and fine. Not bored, not exhausted, and not tired, and not getting fat, actually. Okay? I know, because this is what I hear all the time from, people around, like they're eating a lot, doing no exercises, feeling down, hearing, bad news all over. And it's like around us all the day, frightened. Okay, I know it. Like, I'm not here to give you some some tips related to your health and how to keep healthy, but it's a way to practice English, by the way. But I would just want you to stay safe. Try to clean everything you touch, and before you touch it, actually, and stay home, just for your own safety. Today I'm going to start by talking about different things related to our course, related to how you improve your English, related to some tips that some students asked me to give. The idea here about this course is it started out of sudden. Okay, we heard about the lockdown, about the quarantine. Then I got a call, and they said to me are you ready to do this? So I said yes. Okay. And since it was for free, and for the advantage of our students, for the advantage of people who are interested in this, I said yes. Okay. And then I said why not to help each other during this difficult time. And what we needed is time to prepare for this course. So there are different things I want to apologize, actually not apologize. Yes, apologize because there was no time to prepare. First, the lockdown prevented us from keeping the quality of the videos. Okay, so we have two problems here: the quality of the videos and the lighting. So and these things that we are trying to avoid, video by video, listening to or reading your comments about this, listening to other people's opinions, because we are trying to make this step and this project as a very good project. Every project starts small, but we learn from this. So I'm trying now to avoid all the problems and to stop the problems that prevent us from getting the best for you, or giving you the best. And the second thing, so the quality of the videos, we are trying to avoid this because of the lockdown, I cannot give them to the person who is in charge of posting them or downloading them. So I send them by internet, and because of that, sometimes we have to do a lot of editing to get the best advantage and the best quality. Second thing, the lighting. Sometimes it depends on the day of the. Sometimes I depend on the light of the sun. Sometimes I depend on the light of electricity. So I'm trying to get the best and check which one is better. Second thing, because of the time of preparation that we needed, and it's my first experience in such courses. I'm learning, video after video. I'm learning from this. I'm making mistakes, I know, but I'm trying to avoid them, in the second video. And I'm telling you this to know that you cannot get things easily. You just need time. You just need experience. You just need training. Okay. For me, it's so not that easy. I don't want to say it's so difficult because I already put a negative, what we say, image or perspective or feeling, that prevents me from doing it better later. But what I want to say that it's it will take me time and practice, training. I advise my students all the time to speak to a mirror and to take a video for themselves speaking. Actually, now I know how difficult it is. I did this in the beginning, I think 10 years earlier than this. 10 years ago, I started, practicing conversation and speaking by talking to a mirror, by singing songs, by watching movies. I tried to make my language fluent because, this is what I needed. And it helped me. But I know it's difficult now because I need to speak for an hour in front of a camera. And that is a little bit confusing. Because of that, sometimes you see this all the time because I'm trying to, I'm trying to get the idea. And because I have to handle many things together. Okay, maybe you don't know this, but I have to handle the camera, I have to handle the PDF, and if it's like the right page I'm speaking about, and I'm explaining. Sometimes because the page of the PDF is not that clear, so I find difficulty reading it, and also I have to handle, the tracks, okay, to find the right track. So sometimes I get lost and I forget the idea I was talking about. So I say like, I promise you I'm gonna reduce it and step by step I'm gonna learn how to avoid saying this all the time, okay? So that was very important to tell to you. That was very essential for me and for you. So, and because, as I said, it's my first experience in courses that are, online courses. Also, I have some kind of advice for my students who asked me about how I improved my English. I think that I gave you a hint now about how I improved my English. It was listening to songs, singing the songs, watching movies, speaking to a mirror, and taking videos of myself. I know, like, for you, maybe you will take a video for yourself speaking for like 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maximum, but you're not going to spend an hour speaking to because you will find difficulty, like, what can I speak about, okay, for 1 hour, just talking to myself, it's not, I don't want to say it's difficult, okay, but it's not that easy to speak for an hour in a different language, okay, and you feel like what to speak about. So in this case, you don't have to start to speak for, to a mirror or to yourself or take a video for 1 hour. It's part of my job now here because I'm speaking for an hour now. I used to do this like in a classroom. I can do it 2 hours, 3 hours, since I have, interaction from students, okay? But this one is so difficult. In a classroom, being interactive with others, asking questions, answering, speaking, laughing, explaining, doing exercises and listening to tracks, doing the exercises again, reading. So these are different activities that can make the class alive. In online course and in courses that are on YouTube, it's a little bit difficult, but you have the flexibility to learn. Okay, anytime you want, to repeat the video as many times as you want, which is good. Okay, so you have different advantages that can help you improve your English. While in a classroom, this is not possible to repeat anytime you want or to take the class anytime you want. These are some of the ideas I wanted to speak about, related to learning languages and to giving this course. The second thing I want to speak about is in a classroom. I know that students can take a lot of benefits by speaking to each other, okay, by taking roles and practicing a conversation. For you, it might be difficult because you have no partner, you have no native, you cannot do this. The thing that I want you to do here in this case, and this answer actually for a student who left a comment on one of the videos asking me about how to improve, and he asked me about my personal experience and how I improved my language. I already gave you the tips. His name I think was Ahmed. Ahmed, I want you to practice listening a lot. Listen and listen and listen and listen. Okay, but I will say, like, if you listen forever without trying to understand and summarize and repeat what you understood, is gonna be a little bit not helpful, okay, and not as you expect. The results won't be as you expect. While you listen, sometimes if you are speaking to a teacher who speaks English, a teacher of English, try not to interrupt, resist the temptation to interrupt the teacher and write notes in case I do this, by the way, because I forget. So in case you forget, write notes. Why not? And then you can ask about whatever you want. When you are listening to a movie and you are watching a movie and you want to understand without a subtitle, translated one, of course, and try to write, okay, or try to make the subtitle in English, okay, and again, resist the temptation to read, okay. Let your ears work, let your ears function, let your ears be the first, by the way, you can, your ears can be trained to catch and to understand, just the way you practice and you train your tongue to pronounce words, okay? So the more you listen, the more you get, the more you understand, okay? And this is related to pronunciation, the way like you pronounce a word. So in the beginning, you will say like, it's so difficult. Then when you try to divide the word, it's going to be easier because you are going to say the word as syllables, okay? And later you are going to, step by step, you are going to say it fluently and, in the correct pronunciation. This is also how our ears work. So you need to listen as much as you can. Try to listen to songs and try to sing them, because first, it's fun. Second, it's a way to practice, okay? Maybe, most of you know these tips, but it's no harm to remind you of them. And for other students who say like, okay, I tried this, and how much time do I need to practice English, and how much time do I need to be a good speaker? Don't set time, okay? It's a learning process. You need time, okay, but don't set the time, because setting time is going to be, a limit, and you might feel, frustrated and disappointed because as your plan says, or as the plan that you put, according to this time or by this time, you will have finished this, okay? But this is not true. It's not good to do, okay? Give yourself time, especially nowadays, like you have a lot of time, okay? So why not to practice it as you feel comfortable? We have different abilities, different skills. So what applies to you is different from what applies to other people, okay? So try the way you feel, okay? You will say like, okay, my friend learned or was able to speak English in like 6 months. Okay, fine. To you, it might be like, not like this. That doesn't make you feel frustrated or disappointed, okay? Because again, we are different and we have different skills, and we can learn English in different ways. And again, you are the one who knows how to practice, and you are the one who can feel comfortable, okay, giving himself time, okay? So don't challenge yourself. Challenge yourself by being prepared. This is my advice. Always show up prepared. I mean, if you are taking this course, okay, you watch me like every Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday at 8 o'clock, okay? So why not to come or to show up prepared? I mean, you know that we're going to take like these 2-3 pages. Why don't I read them first? Why don't I get an idea about them first, okay, and then show prepared? I always, advise my students to be prepared. It's like, because, most students have the mentality of, like, okay, I enrolled in this course, and now I must speak. Okay, it's not my job to let you speak. It's my job to help you speak, not to make you speak. It's you who should prepare. It's you who should pay effort, okay? It's not my job to let you feel like, I cannot, okay? In this way, yes, I can say I cannot. I cannot make miracles, okay? I can guide you, give you instructions. I can help you. I can give you tips. Okay, I can explain something that is difficult, but if you don't practice, okay, let me say the fruit of this project will not be as you expect. Okay, so you should be prepared. You should train. You should study. You should do exercises and solve exercises. You should listen. You should pronounce. You should do all of these. Okay, and let me go for the word must, not should. Okay, you must do all of these. Okay, because it's not a touch of magic. Okay. I've always supported my students that don't think of the time. You can do it. I always work on this side. Okay, you can do it. I started just like you. What you need is time and practice. But the only thing I did not accept, or it wasn't okay for me, is carelessness, because again, it's you who is here to get the benefits. Okay, so I can help, but I cannot make you speak. Okay, I can give you all the instructions, all the support, all the ideas, all the suggestions to help you improve and learn the language, and I can practice speaking with you. But if you don't practice by yourself at home, so again, the fruit is not as expected. Okay, this is like part of what I wanted to speak about to you, to students, to people who want to know more about online courses and about also in-class courses. The first thing I said is to get or to show up prepared, and that was everything I wanted to speak about related to my experience and speaking about this experience online courses. I promise you that every video is gonna be with less mistakes than the other video, because again, what we needed is preparation and time to prepare for this course. But because of the lockdown, because of the things were very fast paced, we didn't have time, so we started out of this, okay, out of sudden. And also I promise you to fill in all the gaps that you can, and that you can find in these videos, and we find in these videos. Now let's go to the 6th class of New Headway Upper Intermediate level. We are going to continue with Marco Polo and Jake Ellis. Marco Polo, who was an explorer, dead man now. So everything that is related to his experience or to speaking about his life must be in simple past. Everything that is related to Jake Ellis, because he's been doing this till the moment, so we are going for present perfect, continuous, and present perfect. And again, guys, I don't have to repeat this because you already know it. Okay, I don't want to repeat myself. Let's do the exercises. Let's go to all these things. Today we don't have listening. Okay, this is what I will try to make the page that I'm reading or I'm doing or I'm solving clearer every time. So please help us. And I will thank your cooperation so much. Ready? Let's start. Okay, last exercise I gave you was the listening to Marco Polo and Jake Ellis, and how about their experiences, how Marco Polo traveled at the age of 17 to China, and that he spent a nice experience there, discovering or learning about China. He spent there about 17 years, and he met the Emperor of China. He went back, after 17 years with a lot of jewelry and with a fortune. Also, Jake Ellis. Jake Ellis is a traveler, or let me say a backpacking traveler. On his bike, he joined many groups. Also, he uses public transport to move from place to place. Also, he traveled. He has he has been to China. But the idea of Jake Ellis and his experience, that he's not traveling for the idea of traveling or seeing new places or as a tourist. Also, it there was a sentence here that said, like, he wasn't partying his way around the tourist spots. No, he was doing that for charity. He was raising money, a lot of money for people who are in need. The last one was about making money or raising a lot of money for water aid in Africa, I think. So he was doing this for kind of charity, which was, like, very humane from him. Okay, here let's move to I can remember that I gave you the exercise of number 1 after listening to the topic. It was read the pairs of questions, first decide who each question is about. So is it about Marco Polo or about Jake Ellis? Okay, then ask and answer the questions. So the questions here are, where did he go? Since it's past simple, we're talking about, Marco Polo, and he went to China. So the question is in simple past and the answer must be in simple past. Where has he gone? Okay, this question is for Jake Ellis, okay, because it's present perfect. So you can check the reading and you can find all the answers here, but I just want to say that the simple past is about Marco, and the past present perfect and present perfect continuous is about Jake. Okay, how long has he been traveling? How long has he been traveling? So this is present perfect continuous, Jake. How long did he travel? Okay, this for Marco. Number 3, how did he travel? How did he travel? This is also for Marco. How has he been traveling? How has he been traveling? This is for Jake, because it's present perfect continuous. It's not finished. He might continue to the future doing this. So till the moment of speaking, it was a continuous situation. Who has he met? And who did he meet? Of course, the first one for Jake, the second one for Marco. Did he have any problems? The first one for Marco. The second one, has he had any problems? This is for Jake. Okay. The second exercise is like, here are the answers. Okay, we don't want the answers, but you have like the question is in 2 parts. The first part is about Marco Polo, and the second part is about Jake Ellis. If you can see, as you notice on the second page, or on the second part, the left part of the page, there is a personal blog for Jake. He's posting, pictures and photos, and he speaks about his experience, photos of different places he has been to. The first, back to the question number 2. Here, the first paragraph about Marco Polo, like in 1254 in Venice. So, when and where? Okay, when and where. Here we have to make the question. We already have the answer. So, since it's about Marco Polo, they must be in simple past. So, when did he go to Venice, and where did he go in 1254? Okay. The second question is 4 years. How long did his journey to China take? Okay, how long did his journey to China take? Because again, Marco, past, dead man, okay, or completed action in the past. The third one is for 17 years. How long did he stay in China? How long did he stay in China? If you come back to, or if you go back to the topic about Marco, you will check the period he spent in China. So it was 17 years. For gold and jewelry, what bring back? Okay, what did he bring back from China? That's the question. Number 5, the travels of Marco Polo. Okay, you can say like, what did he title his book? Okay. So this is the question, the travel of Marco Polo. That was, the title of Marco's book about China. The second part is about Jake Ellis, mainly by public transport. So how long has he been traveling? Because again, I'm talking about Jake till now. We might continue this. So this is mainly by public transport. How long has he been traveling? Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and China. Which countries has he been to? Which countries has he been to? In cheap hostels, where has he stayed? Okay, where has he stayed? In cheap hostels. By the way, you can say, where has he been staying? Because they said staying. They already gave us, the ing forms to tell us that, it's continuous. So where has he stayed? And where has he been staying to, because it's a continuous situation. And the period that the action took is more important than the result. Also, thousands of pounds. How much has he raised? Okay, how much has he raised? It's like thousands of pounds. Number 10, yes, he has a few minutes. Okay, has he been ill? Yes, he has been ill many times or a few times. Okay, so that was the idea about using past simple and present perfect continuous, speaking about experiences that are done, completed in the past, and experiences that happen in the past related to the present in a way or another. Maybe the result, maybe the it's not finished yet. Okay, might finish in the future, might not. Okay, so this is like when we talked about. Now the second exercise, or exercise number 3, discussing grammar. We are going to apply what we took. Again, we are repeating, as I told you before, headway, intermediate, upper intermediate, and intermediate, or the idea on the policy, let me say, of headway, that they depend on grammar a lot, they discuss it a lot, they practice it a lot. You have different exercises about the same piece of grammar. Here we have like put the verbs in the correct tense, discuss the reasons for your answer with your partner. I'm gonna give you the answer and the reason, and I'm pretty sure that you know it now. Okay, it's you should know it by now. Okay. Here, like the verbs are drive, try, go, or be, and live. Okay, we are going to put it in the right tense and the right form. Like in number 1, I have the word yesterday. Since I have yesterday, so for sure it's past simple. We drove over 500 miles yesterday. Number 2, or we are still in number 1, but the second one, we already 200 miles today. Okay, so here we have already driven. We have already driven. It's to talk about, present perfect, because, it's finished action and completed. Because they didn't tell us like if they are going to continue or not, so we consider it as unfinished action. 3, we for hours without a break. When I say for hours without a break, don't you feel like I'm trying to emphasize the time the action took, or the time that is more important than the result of the activity? So here we go to present perfect continuous. As I already said, we've been driving for hours without a break. Okay, and that applies to all the coming ones, like try. You try Korean food. Okay, have you ever? To ask about experiences, past experiences. And I don't care for the time that the experience took place, but I care about the experience, if it happened or not. So I use present perfect. Have you ever tried Korean food? Have you ever tried sushi? Have you ever tried tabbouleh? Have you ever tried things related to food? Or have you ever been to China? Have you ever been to Australia? Have you let me say climbed Mount Fuji, something like this, the Everest Mount? Okay, have you been to Everest? So I'm talking here about experiences. The best tense to use is present perfect. Then the second one, you kimchi when you were in Seoul. Have you, or no, when you were in Seoul? So this is a past action. I determined the time, I specified the time. So did you try? Okay, kimchi is kind of food. Okay. 3, here we have go and be. I already told you the difference between go and be, right? I can remember that I told you if you have been to a place, that means you've gone and you're back. If you've gone to a place, you're still there. Okay, so how many times to America? Have you been to America? Have you been to America? How many times Christopher Columbus to America? So I'm talking about a dead man. So how many times did Christopher Columbus go to America? Okay. Live. My aunt in the same house since she was born. Okay. So my aunt has lived. Okay, has lived in the same house since she was born. And again here, like when I'm talking about this, since she was born till now. Okay, so this is the idea. And also I can say yeah, yeah, the second one is I with her for the past month while I look for a job. Okay, so here I lived with her for I've been living with her for the past month while I look for a job. So here I'm talking about, why did I use present perfect continuous? Because it was temporary action. Temporary action, that means like it's not a stative verb. It's not like the what's normal. It's not, you know, this what I meant by, like in the first one, my aunt has lived in the same house since she was born. Okay, because she hasn't changed. Okay, and this is like the normal situation. She hasn't moved or something like this, and it's like for a long time. While when I say like I've been living with her for the past month while I look for a job, that is a temporary action for a short time. So the past perfect, the present perfect continuous was the best to use. Okay, if you check the second here, the second page. Or if we continue with the same page, guys, you are going to say to see simple and continuous language focus. Of course, you can read it. Okay, simple verbs, forms, see actions. The whole to remind you, like to remind you of stative verbs that they cannot be in continuous situation unless they are, you know, they meant to be like as actions. Okay, like when I see like. I've seen her many times, okay, but if to say like I've been seeing her many times, seeing when I say like meeting, okay, but see as, you know, the site, no, we cannot put it in continuous. There are like, you know, the stative verbs, of course, you know, the possessive verbs and verb to be, and, you know, knowledge words like words related to know, understand, believe, think. So these words are not to be in continuous situation. You have to be careful when you are trying to use them. Okay, so let me go back to here to the second, to exercise number 5. They said, how do you plan holidays? Do you usually travel? Do you use travel guides? Okay. This is a harmful question these days. You know, no one can plan a holiday. No one can plan anything unless, you know, we are so hopeful and optimistic people. So we can plan what to do after the, you know, the lockdown, after this period that all the world is going through. Let me say, I think no plans. Just the plan is to be outside. This is the plan we are already planning or having, just to be outside doing nothing, just, you know, walking, having you know, going to cafes, having ice cream, hanging out with the friends, going to university, going to school, going to, you know, going to work. This is like, you know, I'm dying to go back to work, you know. So this is the idea of this question, but the question, the real question here means like, you know, I'm away from the main topic here. Like, do you use travel guide if you're traveling out? Okay, let me say your dream is to travel to what, China? No, not China these days. You're just to go to any place, Australia. Okay, so let me say you want to go to Australia and you know nothing about Australia. It's your first time. So how can you know about the most beautiful places that you can visit, then the sites that you need to see, how to go sightseeing? Do you need a guide if you are traveling alone, or if you're traveling, or that depends if you're traveling alone or travel with a group? Which one do you prefer? So travel guides are so helpful. Okay, they are like booklets to with a lot of pictures and maps, and to help you visit an area or to go sightseeing in a country, or in order to enjoy and have the best memories ever if you're traveling to the place, and also to help you get more familiar to the place, because feeling as a stranger is not easy in a place that you don't know about. Okay, so 6 here, they are telling us about a couple, okay, who started the idea of travel guide, okay, or travel guides. They are Tony and Maureen, okay. We have a picture of them. Let me check. Okay, yeah, we have a picture for them like when they were young, and the picture like of nowadays. The first picture is in 1973, the second like nowadays. We have the word here, Lonely Planet, okay. It's a company, it's the name of the company, okay, to publish and to produce travel guides about different places. We are going to check how this idea started, what they did, how they improved it, and maybe like what's different. Also, what's different about it? What countries did they try to mention in their travel guides? I think they included all the countries because it's related to tourism. And then here we have some questions. What I'm going to read is only the topic itself, okay, and without giving the answers. The answers are going to be let me say homework. No, it's not going to be homework. I'm going to help you with this. But let me read it. The travel guide company Lonely Planet was founded by Tony and Maureen Wheeler. When? Okay. So this one, I have several dots and when into brackets and questions. So to make the question. Okay? Let me leave it till the end. Lonely Planet is an outstanding publishing success. Over 120 million guidebooks have now been printed, and it has books for almost every country in the world. Okay, so as I mentioned before, they included almost all the countries in the world, because it's all about tourism. Okay, where did I stop? Okay, here they have been translated into, and I have dots, how many languages? Okay. The website www.lonelyplanet.com receives over 100 million visitors per year, and there has been in excess of 10 million downloads of its apps. Okay, so they also have apps to download or to be downloaded in order to help you move around in the place you're traveling to. Okay, then, yeah, it has offices in the UK, the US, and India, with its headquarters in dots and where. Okay, Tony Wheeler lived in many different countries when he was young, because his father's job took him all over the world. Good, he's lucky. He studied what? At Warwick University. We, stopped speaking about Tony. Now we're going to Maureen. Maureen was born in Belfast. She went to London at the age of 20 because, for what reason? I have Y into brackets. She met Tony in Regent's Park 3 days after arriving. Okay. Regent's Park is a very famous park, and it's nice. Now, in 1972, they traveled where the trip took 6 months. They wrote their first book called Across Asia on the Cheap. Good. On their kitchen table in Melbourne, they have lived. Okay, let me check. Yeah, it's not clear. Yeah, they have lived in Melbourne on and off. How long? We are going to check later. Okay. Together, they have been to more than 100 countries. Tony said that the most amazing place he has ever visited is a remote hilltop city called Tasparang in Tibet. Yeah, Tasparang. Good. The Wheelers sold Lonely Planet in what time? But Tony still writes for the company. His new book, Darklands, recalls his experiences in countries such as Pakistan and Colombia. Here's talking about, places that are not so common to visit, okay? I'm talking about as, touristic sites. Okay, so this is the idea about the Lonely Planet company. We talked about Tony and Maureen, okay, how they met, where they met, about their past life, each one of them. And now let's answer the questions. Okay, after reading the topic and the topic about Maureen and Tony, they told us like to find to go to student A and student B and find the questions on a specific page here. Let me give you the answers. When I'm talking about past experience for student A questions, okay, when I'm talking about past experiences, making questions is going to be in the past. But when it's related to Lonely Planet business, okay, I'm talking about present perfect because it's not done yet, it's not finished. So let me go to students A questions, okay, I'm reading this. Yeah, I can say like when did they found, okay, Lonely Planet. And by the way, found here doesn't mean the past of find, okay? Found here mean like establish. The second question, when was Lonely Planet founded? So I can make it in passive and I can make it in active, but both of them must be in simple past because it's already founded and it's done action. The second question, how many languages have the books been translated into? Keep translating till the moment, so have been translated, okay? Here, first, it's present perfect, but passive sentence, okay? So how many languages have the books been translated into? The third question is, where are the headquarters of Lonely Planet? Okay, next, what did Tony study at Warwick University? To know these questions, okay, we need to go to more details here. Next, when did Maureen go to London? Okay, so they already gave us like at the age of 20. Where did they travel in 1972? These questions to be answered after you read, okay? How long did they live in Melbourne? By the way, guys, like if you notice, all of them or most of them are in simple past, okay? When did Tony and Maureen sell Lonely Planet? Now, student B's question must be in present perfect because it's related to the business, okay? How many guidebooks have been printed till the moment? And maybe later it may continue. How many visitors does the site receive per year? Why present simple? Because it's a fact, okay? It's a repeated action. Every year they have new numbers. Why did Tony live in many countries when he was young? As you remember, because of his father's job. Where was Maureen born? And when did she meet Tony? If you remember, because we had specific time in the past. I think we had a year, so we use simple past. Where did they write their first book, and how many countries have they been to? Okay, and what was their last job, or Tony's last guidebook, which was about, I think, Colombia and Pakistan. So guys, here what you want to do after you read a topic. What do you need to do? What tips you need to know about this after you read a topic, okay? It's so important to know how to summarize the topic, mentioning the main details, the main ideas, okay, and sub-main ideas. Like, let me talk about, for Maureen and Tony. Okay, the first thing is like, I remember like the main business here, their main business, their main job, and why, how did it happen? So you make a questions and answers. When you make questions and answers, your comprehension of the topic would be very amazing, or will be very amazing. So what you need is to summarize the ideas. And then after that, you try to give a summary to yourself, okay? Like, let me, if someone asks me about this Lonely Planet, what is it? So you can say it's a company founded by Maureen and Tony, blah, blah, blah. They founded it at in this year. The main reason that to be established, it was like to produce or to make guide books, okay, about different countries of the world, like all the countries. Their books have been translated into different languages, because, you know, so like this is how you make your understanding out of the reading. If you are not able, if you cannot remember, so you need to read it many times. And believe me, step by step, okay, you will be able to summarize, you know, from the first or the second reading. In the beginning, it might take time. Like, I have to repeat it like 10 times in order to be able to give like 10 details. Okay, no problem. But don't give up. Don't say like, oh, I cannot do it, I got tired. Okay, don't give up, because now it will take like 10 times reading to give 10 details. Believe me, when you get accustomed to this, when you practice this, when you train this many times, and when you make it as part of your daily routine, after a while, you will find yourself reading maybe 3 times, and you are able to give the 10 details, because again, it's training. You are changing the whole way you think and read, and you change why you are reading. Okay, I'm not reading to know that I can read. Okay, I'm not reading to know that, or to show that I can pronounce the words. I'm reading to understand. So you have to change your way of thinking from I'm reading just to read, and I'm reading to understand. It's the same way that I'm listening to understand. I'm not listening for the point of listening. Okay? Because of that, sometimes you find like regardless the abilities every person has and the skills every person has, but when I'm reading or I'm listening to a part 5 times and I'm not able to give 2 main ideas, and the second person is listening and he's able to give like many main ideas from the listening, because the person is listening to understand and the other person listening because he's not here. Okay, let me say he's absent-minded. Don't listen and don't fool yourself. Okay, don't fool yourself. I mean, like, don't cheat yourself. Like, when you listen, try to listen to get the best of this. Make it as a challenge. Okay, challenge yourself to give, like, let me say, first you say, like, okay, from the first listening I need to give 10% of what I understood or what I got from the reading topic. Okay, in the second listening I need to give 15%. Okay, then 20%, then 50%, then 70%, then you will be able to get 80-90% of the topic from the reading. And of course, if you don't have to translate the words, okay, so don't go into translating the words, every single word, unless they affect the meaning, unless they are unable to understand the sentence, okay, without the translation of the word. And I advise you to translate it into English, okay, not to go into English Arabic. Make it as your last choice, make it as your last thing to do. Yes, guys, this is what I wanted to give you for today. This is like my class for today. I hope it was as you expected and more. And for me, like, again, I'm on the way of improving these classes and these videos. I'm ready to hear all from you. And to improve what we can improve, considering the difficulties we are facing every day, related to internet connection, which is the most serious difficulty we have, related to lighting, related to the videos, quality of the videos, related to my preparation, my planning, your preparation, your planning, your studying, your preparing, everything, okay? So that was everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for understanding the conditions and the circumstances that we are going through. We promise you of the best, and it's gonna come later. Thank you very much. See you later. See you next class. Enjoy it. And stay home, stay healthy.